Yeah, my name is Mark Roy. I'm Chief Executive of the Red Group, but I'm also Chair of the Data Council. The Data Council has 130 primary members and another 400 members who describe data as being an active part of their day-to-day role. So my role is to make sure that the association can represent the interests of those members. Clearly the economic outlook is pretty bleak, really, in terms of where we are. The real issue is around uncertainty. What we find is that data and the whole field of data is about planning and going forward. What we look for is companies who actually invest in the future, and they're trying to find out more about their customers and their prospects. So when there's uncertainty, what happens is that people don't make decisions. It's clearly very difficult. The other thing to consider about the economic outlook is that actually, being of an age that I am, I've done 3 of these recessions, is that the recession this time, I believe, is significantly different. In the 80s and in the 90s, people just went, fine, cut the marketing budget, it's absolutely fine. But now, of course, brands and companies are so leveraged on market share, and actually their shareholder values are driven by the amount of market share they have in their specific sector, that actually the sort of arbitrary decision to cut marketing spend really doesn't exist anymore. They can't do that because the real costs are huge to them. So what they're having to do, and where I think the plus side of the challenge that we've got is in that actually people are looking to work more efficiently because they can't stop, they have to continue doing it. So now the issue is how can you get more out of what it is that you're doing. So as with all of these things, of course, where there's a challenge, there's also an opportunity. And I think that's really one of the things that actually direct marketing has a really good opportunity right now to deliver. I think we'll see a really significant shift in the way that the digital world is legislated and the way that it's operated. The reality is the sort of slightly knee-jerk reaction in 2007, 8, 9 to shift all our budget across to digital really is not paying dividends anymore. We're seeing response rates falling significantly, but also what it's really highlighted is that there's a real need for further legislation in terms of how that channel is actually governed. PECA is going through a significant review right now. The cookies thing is going on. We've also got FISA in Canada, which is really significant, really almost moving to a complete and genuine opt-in, because at the moment obviously we're using an assumed opt-in effectively in terms of doing that. And I think we're going to see a lot of stuff going on there. But I think probably principally, and I think as a result of the circumstances we're going through at the moment, what we'll really see is a major shift back to or toward what I would call retention. The real issue is that prospecting is one thing, and finding really good prospects is harder and harder these days, but also organisations, quite rightly in my view, are becoming a lot more discerning about what is a good prospect and what isn't a good prospect. And surely in a very difficult marketplace, and I think that 2012 will be a very difficult marketplace, actually hanging on and developing and enhancing what you've currently got, e.g. your existing customers, is absolutely going to be paramount and key to people's success in 2012. We've done quite a lot of research, and actually the DMA has also done some further research around the issue of what really matters to consumers, and actually what matters to consumers really is really good customer service. So that means being honest, being open, being transparent, delivering on what you say you're going to deliver, and actually respecting their choices in terms of the choices that they make as your customers. And if you do that, then I think we'll find that retention will become the new now. Of course, prospecting will continue, but again, it'll be much more targeted, and this sort of new regime of lower volume, higher frequency is what will take over from a prospecting point of view. The growth sector will always begin with the word efficiency. If we can, the areas where we can deliver efficiency to companies, in other words, and my version of efficiency is to spend less and get more. And that's really, if you remember 20 odd years ago, that was the raison d'etre of direct marketing. That was the whole point. It was measurable and you could do that. And the principles of direct marketing still exist. And it doesn't matter whether this is mobile or digital or direct mail. The principles of being able to measure and deliver and show that you're doing it more effectively. Well, obviously technology is key to everything that we do, and without technology there is no data. So we're definitely seeing a slowing of the investment into R&D in terms of new technologies. I think also, again, from a technological point of view, this issue of how we measure and deliver the channel around multi-channel, I think that's a real opportunity. I think, again, and as we were saying earlier on, the sort of siloed approach to integration that we're talking about at the moment has to stop. But we have to have a real measurement engine which says, okay, these particular individuals will respond better to this specific message via this specific channel. And I think there's a real opportunity in terms of delivering that sort of thing.